Hello, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to today's webinar, Growers Webinar, Boosting Productivity and Revenue with Office 365. We appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule to join us. I'd like to introduce today's speaker. Todd Waterman is a NAV Solutions Architect at Velosio. Todd has more than 15 years of experience as a subject matter expert in technology and business software consulting, and he has an extensive background in horticultural and agricultural fields and the technologies and solutions specific to the industry. So at this point, Todd, I believe we're ready to transition over to you.
Thank you, Rebecca. Well, thanks everybody for taking time out of your day to once again listen to me ramble about solutions and software. I appreciate the time. So today we're going to talk about Office 365, boosting productivity and revenue. Like, it's not really going to make you revenue, right? But really is, what is your time worth? What is your productivity worth? Things like that. So my first slide, I've shown this slide before. It's one of my favorites. Let me just see if I can get it in there. Whoops. There it is. So this is an actual office. For those of you that seen some of my other presentations, I use this often because I think this is a perfect picture that kind of describes the horticulture industry. Or this was some time ago. I will say this was probably 10 years ago. But I think there's still a lot of things that this picture tells me today. First of all, I can see right there in the background, you gotta love old Windows XP. I'd say there probably is companies still out there running that, some nurseries. You know, the rule of thumb, and when I was in the nursery business is, you know, really the growers are on one side of the property. So all of the computers and software moved from the more clerical side of the company slowly on down to the growers. So the growers really had the oldest software, the oldest computers. And is that really a smart thing to do? You know, looking back on that, you know, I understand how tight the margins are in the industry. I lived it. So we would really try not to buy anything and say, let's keep those computers going as long as we can. Let's get, you know, for instance, that Office 95 disk that we've had for 10 years and just go install it on every computer, even though Office is up to 2010. You know, that's really the world that I lived for a long time. And so I think probably all of you are still doing some of that yourselves. Another thing, look at all of the papers all over the place. I always want to tell whose desk this is because it's actually somebody that is well known in the industry, but I will not do that. Even notice the typewriter. I like the typewriter. That was actually for manual checks. So that typewriter was actually used. But back to all the papers and everything everywhere. What was very common in our meetings, you know, like when we would get together to say plan a season, you know, we're going to plan what we're going to grow. We're going to plan what our marketing plans are going to be. We're going to plan shipping, come out with new shipping freight, you know, be looking at the year before or maybe a 3-year history of all those things and come up with exactly what we're going to do. Well, we had so many users that had so many different versions of a spreadsheet that actually they would actually print to bring to the meeting because they really wanted to be able to hold a ruler on the paper and highlight and write notes in the margin that then later went back to their copy of the spreadsheet, put all that information in there. Everybody else had a copy of the spreadsheet that they did the same thing. So you can kind of see the pattern here. There was information spread out all over the place. So the desk, again, is a perfect metaphor for that. So let's think about, I'm going to use another example to kind of explain this. Everybody remember Netflix? Getting Netflix in the mail? How awesome was that, right? Who does that now? Probably nobody. I got to be honest, I don't even know if they offer that anymore. We're all so used to streaming. And what is streaming? That's the cloud, right? Think about all the things you hear about the cloud and even different companies that say, we're not ready for the cloud. We don't want to do the cloud. We don't want the recurring monthly payments or yearly payments or whatever it is of the cloud, right? You're in the cloud at home, right? Everybody's in the cloud. Think about all the online banking you do. I don't even go to the bank anymore. I deposit my checks with my phone, right? So I think Netflix is a really good example of something that, think of how many copies of each movie they used to have, right? To send out all these DVDs. But that was cutting edge then, right? But now go back to an even darker time in our history where we actually had to get up, get in our car, and go to Blockbuster, right? That makes Netflix seem like futuristic high tech at this point, right? We all went to the store to look and talk about having copies of movies. You know, they'd have one wall with the most popular new release. Look at the top right. Remember, we had to rewind VHS tapes, right? I thought it was kind of fun to go to Blockbuster, but nowadays I can't imagine. Just the other night, my wife wanted to watch a movie. I have a huge DVD collection that I've now packed up and is in boxes in the garage, and I just paid for it on Apple TV just because I didn't want to take the time to go and try to dig through the boxes and find it. So think about that. How many are you still operating like Blockbuster, right? Where is Blockbuster now? They're not here anymore. So I did think that Netflix and the Blockbuster example is really something to think about because when you have so many different versions of, this webinar is about Microsoft Office, but it can be any software. When you have so many different versions and then like for my company's example, the people doing the most data entry in spreadsheets had the oldest version of Office. So then little by little, we'd have to upgrade. Different managers had maybe the last or the latest version of Office, but the people actually doing the work didn't. So then we would want to use some functionality that we're used to in the new version, and they couldn't even use it. So were we really saving money by not upgrading Office and having everybody on all different versions? I don't really think so. Okay, so let's just look at the difference between the traditional Microsoft Office and Office 365. The traditional one, as I already kind of spoke to, it was sold as one, it was a one-time purchase. I used to get volume licensing, so I would get one master disk and then pay per user, but I'd have to pay for each computer that we wanted to put it on. And it was sold with a single installation rights. That means if I had a laptop and a desktop computer, I had to buy 2 licenses, right? Security updates weren't included. No upgrades were included. So then when the next version came out and you saw these great things that you wanted to use, you had to upgrade again and buy those 2 licenses again. And really the technical support was really for if you had trouble installing, right? Now think about Office 365. And I know there's so many of you that use this already. I actually had a prospective customer when I asked if they use Office 365, he said, who doesn't? Right? And I think there's a lot of truth to that. But with Office 365, it's a monthly subscription. But look, you can install it up to 5 devices per license. Everybody has, because you're going to have Outlook probably on your phone and on your computer, on your laptop, on your tablet, right? Also, you get the latest features and functionality, security updates and bug fixes. Back to my Netflix example, think of it, or just even having an Apple TV or any kind of streaming device. It's the gift that keeps on giving, right? You don't buy it once and that's it. They keep updating and adding other things. I don't use a DVR anymore. I use a streaming service for TV, so I got rid of a device. I don't have anything at my house except for a streaming device. So look at all of my watching and any of my recordings, any of those things, it's all in the cloud. So there's additional online storage available, but every single one of your users that uses this also gets 1 terabit of storage. That's a lot of storage. I can remember years ago, I didn't even have a terabit for the whole company. But the fact is, think about, let's go back to our great picture of the office. Where do you think all these files are stored, or even the files on the computer? Did they put them in the right place? We had their documents folder, and everybody had to put it in their documents folder, and I backed it up to a tape. But if they didn't put it in the documents folder, it didn't get backed up, right? We're going to talk a little bit about OneDrive today. That's part of Office 2, and that's a terabit for each user that can put all these important documents, also share them amongst, and even work on the documents together. That's pretty powerful. And then can your backup tape even fit all of this information? The days of having a person put the backup tapes in the trunk of their car and take them home, I think, are over. And if you are backing up currently right now, you have all that hard drive space and servers on your property to hold all that information, then back it up to a tape or to the cloud. You may be already doing that, where you really don't have to do any of that. As part of Office 365, you're going to have your own online storage that's available from anywhere in any device. Remember the core products? This is when I think of Office, this is it. Outlook, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote. OneNote I've never really used that much, and I got to say I use it every day now. But that's really where it came from. And so if you have Office today, in any version, you do have all of these. And if you have Office 365, you have these. But look, now that's the Office suite. I mean, that's a pretty big change. That's one of the things I think that's a little overwhelming for all of you that really do have Office 365 already, and you go in there and you click on the little waffle or whatever they call in the top left corner and see all these things. It's like, what the heck is all that, right? So obviously I'm not going to go through all these today, but I am going to touch on a couple of these that I think are really important, and also give you a little bit of insight into where things are going. So first I'm going to mention the Power Platform, and this, I mean, remember this name, the Power Platform, because this will change the world, I guarantee it. So really what the Power Platform is 3 applications that are part of Microsoft Office, and they are Power BI. Power BI is really to measure things, right? These are your reports, interactive dashboards. We have Microsoft Flow. It's really automation. Really create automated workflows. Like a workflow could be, I want to get an email because I'm the production manager. So anytime a crop is started after the planned date, I want to get an email that tells me this was planted a week late, or something like that. I'm sure just even hearing that example alone, you can think of hundreds of things that you would want to be notified about. That normally takes a month before it really gets up to the top office and figure out really what's going on down the line. Another is Power Apps. This one is really coming on strong now, and this is, I think, going to be the most powerful one, and it's a suite of apps and services and connectors that you can actually create your own applications, whether it's a scanning app, inventory apps. But this isn't just for you, they're for companies like us. This is for companies like ours. We'll be using these products to create our own enhancements to our systems. Today, I'm really just going to talk about Power BI just a little bit. Again, Power BI, it's a collection of software services. So you can see all these different icons there on the bottom. It could be an Excel spreadsheet. It could be in a different database. It could be out in the cloud somewhere else, in your local network. But Power BI connects to all different sources of information to bring them together so you can look at them all in one place. I'm also going to talk about Teams. I don't know if any of you use SharePoint. I used SharePoint for a long time, from the very beginning. And one of the things we used to use on SharePoint is to do collaboration and to do meeting agendas and documents for meetings and things like that. And that has really morphed into its own product. That's called Microsoft Teams. And it's everything from gathering documents, linking to other documents and services, and also even a chat service. Think about if we'll go back to my example I'm going to use about we're planning this year or next year, 2020. We got to get all these documents together, and there's going to be senior managers or department managers that are involved. So what better way to do that than to create a team, or it actually creates a team. We invite all those members to the team and work on this together, and I'm going to demonstrate that in just a moment. But really what it all comes down to is really the Microsoft Intelligent Cloud. This visual right here is really showing all of the different, business systems. Right top left, finance and operations. That's a step above Business Central, the small to medium-sized business that I'm involved in. But we do have a lot of customers that even more enterprise level that use that system. And down at the bottom, we got Business Central, which, really I'm kind of revolving around, and also the Agriware product. But really that's showing all of the different business solutions and everything Microsoft has, and look at all the stuff they're doing to enhance that. They have an app source, right? Everybody goes on their iPhones and that to the App Store and find different apps. Well, now there's an app source to where even with these business systems like Business Central, there's apps that you can add on to that, right? That's that, you are purchasing or using the software in the cloud, but it keeps getting better. You keep getting new functionality from things like AppSource. Office 365, they're making sure that Office 365 is fully integrated with all of this, right? And I'm hoping to show you a little bit of that today. They have a common data service, right? Everybody's heard artificial intelligence, that's Microsoft AI. Azure is really storing all your information. Its database is in the cloud. But the common data service, I want to highlight there real quick, because that's really, that common data service is the service that makes all of this be able to communicate and be integrated together. And then we have that Power Platform that I spoke about briefly, Power BI, Power Apps, Microsoft Flow. So there is no competition for any of this out anywhere in the industry. In any industry, I would say. Just the fact that if you are using one of our ERP systems in my world, namely Business Central, there is no other company that's going to be compatible and have all of these solutions surrounding it that'll continue to get better and better. Okay, let's go ahead and get out of PowerPoint here. Let's take a look at Teams. All right, I'm coming from just the blank slate here. And in this example, we are going to create a team because we're going to be planning our 2020 season. Okay, I'm just going to build a team from scratch, and I'm going to say private because I'm only going to invite people that are in these planning meetings. I'm just going to make it easy, planning 2020. Nice work. Oh, I love the cartoons. Okay, I'm going to add my wife because she's in charge, right? So she's going to have to be able to access this team. I'm just going to say close there. Okay, so now we did create a Planning 2020 team, and already we have a channel. That's what they call channels. So really you have that top level Planning 2020 is my team, and there's a channel called General. And here's look at the screen right here. You got, this is where you can actually chat. Think of how many emails and different things that go back and forth, maybe about Planning 2020. And then there's emails spread out all over everybody's inbox. How about if you come here when they're relevant things about this planning session, you do the conversations in here, and then all of this is encapsulated in the team. It also will email the people if I, at my wife right here, and I say, at Laura Waterman, what's for dinner? I can't even spell dinner. It's gonna be here in the chat window, but also she's gonna get an email just in case she's not looking at the team. Of course, Teams does install on your phone too, so you can have that. Then there's also a files directory. We're gonna need a lot of files, right? Planning documents, history things, reports, different things like that. And then wiki, I'm not even gonna get into that, but you can actually create wiki pages too. But so here's what I'm going to do first, though. I'm going to create a new channel. Yeah, there we go. I'm going to say I'm going to add a channel called production. There we go. Okay. So now we have a production. So I'm actually going to add some files here. What types of things do we need in production? I'm actually going to just collapse this down, and I think I can drag this over here. I got a 2020 planning Excel sheet here. Obviously you're probably going to be doing a lot in Excel, but here now I got this planning sheet. I can even open it in here. I can check it out. There's my planning sheet we're going to be going over. So remember, everybody on the team can be looking at this. So we don't have that issue with the 2020 planning sheet and 20 different versions all over everywhere. Okay, everybody's going to work off of this one. They can even take notes, and we can even see the different edits and things that each user or member of the team has done. I'm going to do something even fancier now. Look, see this plus sign? I can say plus here. And look, here's some of those apps we saw before. Some of these, all these other Office 365 things. Look, I can link to Excel. One thing that I wanted to point out too is Stream. I'm not going to do a bunch with Stream today, but Stream is your video recordings. Okay, we record. That means from Teams. Remember, Teams also can be your phone chatting and everything. So actually us at Velosio, we use Teams for everything. I live in Teams. All the phone calls I make are in Teams. And we record some of our prospect calls. We're gathering information, getting ready for a demo and things, we record them. And it immediately links them to this meeting. You know, I would suggest trying that sometime. It's amazing to listen to your meetings and you can hear, mostly I hear me rambling when I shouldn't be. So it can really help you be a little bit better in meetings, and if you know it's being recorded, to be productive and not waste time. I'm going to choose Power BI here, and let's see, I have this demo one. This is showing my Power BI, all my Power BI reports, so I'm going to save it. Look what it's going to do. It's going to bring my Power BI report right into this team as another tab. Here it comes. Taking a second. All of this is okay. So here's some reports. You know, for those of you who've seen some of my Power BI demos, I do have some demos totally devoted to this. But so these are different reports I'm going to use to figure out what is my history. Right here on the right, over here, these are all the claims. I know these years are a little bit old, but if I could see, wow, there's 33,000 of Botrytis credits last year. It's money we gave back. And I can quickly see it was Osteos, right? So what's our plan for Osteos? How many did we sell? Is it worth doing Symphony Orange? Great product. But is it costing you more to grow it than it is really making you money? Who knows? But that's where Power BI comes in. There's so many different ways to use it. But what's nice is I don't have to jump out to Power BI or anything in here. It's all just another tab in my team. I will just go ahead and add another one to, I could even go like this and say Excel, and you can see, remember we just uploaded that? I could save it and actually have that be a tab too, if that's easier for the team. So you get the idea. Now I can add another channel, and this will be shipping. No, not dipping, shipping. Same thing. Now we're going to add the shipping files. You know, let's add another one. You know, could be royalties. All the different departments that you're going to do the planning session. You create one team. So remember, if you have Office 365 now, you have this already. So that's why I really wanted to highlight this one, because this is a tool I really didn't use for a long time, and I could not live without now. So that's just a little bit of taste of Teams, a little bit of Power BI, and a whole lot of Office. All right, I know everybody's busy. I think we'll let class get out early today. Just kind of show, whoop, we're gonna swap screens here, sorry about that. There's yours truly, ready to help you get started. So please, thank you all for watching, and please inquire about any Office 365 things that you need. We do have a whole practice devoted to Office 365, and we are very successful in our services to help adoption and to help your team find out about these things in training and things like that. So I highly recommend you look into that. All right, thank you very much for listening, and I hope you all have a great day.